Hello, everybody, and a warm welcome to our very first episode of Queen Talk with me, Wayne Stafford, live here from the Vinci Hotel and Suites. We are so excited to announce that this year we'll continue to bring you episodes and shows that are going to be highlighting the success of national and international title holders, as well as individuals that are certainly making waves in the industry of pageantry, modeling, television, and business. So you don't want to go away, because I'm about to profile a dynamic and a beautiful woman who encompasses all that. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Queen Talk with me, Wayne Stafford, live here from the Vinci Hotel and Suites. So as I mentioned to you, I've got an incredible guest with me, and I'm so happy to be profiling her. She's a philanthropist, a former Mrs. South Africa, a television presenter, and a dynamic business mogul. Gents, ladies, welcome the gorgeous Nicole Capper. Hello.
Wayne, it's so good to be here.
So good for you to be here with me. I really appreciate it. How are you doing?
I'm good. It feels like forever since we last caught up, and so much has happened, I think, in the world in the last 2 years. Never mind, I think, for us.
But let me just add, you are looking phenomenal.
Thank you.
I mean, she won Mrs. South Africa back in 2018, am I right?
Yes.
And look at her, mother of two, a mother of two. But Nicole, let's rewind a little bit. Just tell me, what encouraged you, what motivated you to actually enter the Mrs. South Africa pageant?
Sure, Wayne. It's been a whirlwind for me in the last 5 years. I was never a pageant girl, typically. I think I always had admiration for anybody with that type of courage, but I was a bit of a tomboy and very, very deeply shy. And actually in a place in my life when I was very lazy and apathetic, and I was hiding in a lot of shadows. And I don't think that I realized just how much life I was missing out on. And it took, for me, a catalyst for change, which was the birth of my second child. I mean, funny enough, you'd think that becoming a mother would be enough of a catalyst for change, but sometimes it's almost an excuse to hide behind your child and their goals and dreams. And certainly for me it was. I loved every minute of motherhood, but my second child was born with a rare disease, cystic fibrosis. And it was like the whole world came crashing down. In one moment, all of the hopes and dreams that you have for your child and how long they'll live and the type of experiences they'll get to have is shifted. And you realize that life is not predictable at all anyway. You're not really in control. And are you, number one, am I being an example of courage and bravery that my kids, and especially now my daughter, can follow? And I certainly wasn't. And
the Mrs. South Africa platform basically just ignited all that you felt you might have lost or forgotten, and that you just wanted to, go into it and perhaps send a message of hope, in the sense of that you can still go and attain what you need to, even though you're married, you've got two children, all those things. So I think a lot of ladies get married, they might have then forgotten about their dreams, and I think the platform really allows for them to take charge of their lives, so they can still, it's not the end. Yes. You don't need to be the woman in the kitchen barefoot and pregnant, like they always used to say. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I think the whole pageantry, the stereotypical women of pageants have shifted. It's not the puppy.
No, it's not.
Do you want to elaborate a little bit on that?
So for me, I started off wanting to do something to be an example, but along the way I realized that I actually needed something for myself. And it's actually okay to do something for yourself.
That's it.
Not just to love your life, to do something fun, to challenge yourself, but actually to have big goals and do, significant things. So entering Mrs. South Africa was convenient because I'd watched somebody else's journey. I knew them. I was an acquaintance. I watched them on social media. They ended up Kathy Heaton becoming my pageant mentor down the line, which is very special. But watching somebody else step out of their comfort zone as a mom, as a wife, as a successful working woman, and over and above that, entering something like this, I thought, why not? And
but sorry for interrupting, but I've just got to say, you took it to another level. Okay, so you won the title, and then a few months later, you decided, no, this is not. I'm going to push the envelope and climb Kilimanjaro. You know, and then you pushed the envelope and you did more spectacular, adventurous things. You know, so are you adventure by heart? Adventures by heart.
This is the thing, and this is the gift that Mrs. South Africa gave me. Is it opened up, you know, what is my essence? What makes me tick, and what sets my soul on fire? And those are questions I hadn't asked myself in a long time. I think as a woman, traditionally in society, especially when you become married and a mom, you're not supposed to ask those questions anymore. And I started to ask them through the process. And then it was also a little bit of when Hlengiwe Twala took her crown off and placed it on my head. There was a moment of elation and glitter in the sky, but then there was the following heavy weight of realization. What am I going to do with this that's significant, that can show other women that it's worth it? And that for me was a combination of what sets my soul on fire. I want to adventure. I want to get out there and experience the world, but I want to do something that sets an example of bravery and courage. And so I got invited out of the blue. I was looking for some sort of challenge. Or challenge, I thought we could run a marathon, a half marathon. Yes. And a friend of mine sat with me and she said, listen, I'm going to Everest Base Camp. Why don't you come with? And I said yes, because I was looking for something. Yes. And I think if that's a takeaway for anybody, it would be that if there's an opportunity that lies in front of you and there's 1% of you that says, maybe this is a good idea, say yes. Because in the process, you're definitely going to grow, and you're going to learn you either love something or you hate it. Absolutely. And there's a win either way. And for me, I actually almost died on that trip. I made street pole.
It was very challenging.
I got airlifted out for altitude sickness.
Very, very challenging for you.
But I fell in love with the mountains. And 6 months later was when I climbed Kilimanjaro, and that was my second return back to the mountains. All right. And there a whole purpose was born for climbing, for a purpose and taking people with me.
No, it's magnificent. Now, listen, I mean, I always say, you know, you've got 1 year to make that title work for you, but at the same time, to truly make a difference, but it's got to come from the heart, right? And then also, you know, going out of your comfort zone, exactly which you did. But what I found so amazing about you is that you've pushed even further, because your longevity, everyone knows who Nicole Capper Austin is. And the thing is, and I mean, that's well deserved. You know what I mean? You've earned it, you've worked for it. And I mean, that in the end is so much, it's so rewarding, because I always say a happy mom is happy children, happy family, everything. You know what I mean? A successful woman needs to be loving herself, happy with herself, because it affects everything around her. And I think that's what a lot of people forget, is that the pageants do add value and bring this about in young girls, in women. And that's why I'm for pageants. So I love pageantry, because I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. And but now, speaking of the whole adventure side, anything on your bucket list for 2022 that you're willing to disclose?
Well, I think COVID definitely put a dampener on a lot of travel and adventure plans for everybody. And now that things are opening up again, there's a renewed hope. I did, in the meantime, find a renewed passion for adventuring within South Africa. And I'm actually obsessed at the moment with taking people with me on the 9 Peaks Challenge. So we go and climb the highest peak in every province with my organization, Uprising. But I'm also really excited about going back to conquer some of my failures. And this is one thing for me. If anybody's watching that is afraid to do something like Mrs. South Africa or a pageant or a challenge or a new hobby or an MBA or a new job.
Yes.
The biggest reason you don't is because you're afraid of failure or afraid of what people might think. And both of those are really, really bad fears. They're really stupid.
I can't agree with you more. No, I really can't agree with you. Because, you know, we've been there.
We failed.
That's it.
I have failed more than
but
most
also
people.
that fear of worrying about what people think, that fear of actually just stepping up for yourself. And I think until you reach that point in your life where you stop looking left and right, you stop looking at or stop worrying about what people think, and you start taking charge and say, this is for me now.
Yes.
I deserve it. I can do this. Yes. Is when you'll up-level your life and actually, you know, attain and achieve those things.
That's exactly.
So, but it's not easy. It's a process. It's a step by step. But the thing is, it takes 1 step. 1 step at a time.
I actually read a quote recently, and it said that the whole point of planning is that you just take the first step.
That's it.
Because the plans never usually work out anyway.
But just take that step.
It's the action.
Just take that step for yourself, most importantly.
So my step this year on my bucket list was one of my previous failures as I went up to climb Mont Blanc. I learned a lot in the process. I went ice climbing. It was the most incredible experience, but we never made it to the summit. So if I had one international adventure that I'd like to achieve this year, it would be climbing and conquering Mont Blanc.
Oh, no. Well, I mean, we'll be watching that for sure, hey? Tell me, Nicole, with regards to pageantry, you have been in front, being on stage, as well as behind as a judge. You know, a lot of our viewers, a lot of our readers are aspiring pageant entrants from Mrs. to Miss to younger. What advice would you say to them in order to be able to enjoy the journey and in order to just be themselves? You know what I mean? Because I think a lot of them is this copy-paste story or carbon copies. And one can understand it's hard, but what is your advice?
Somebody once said to me, never be what you think. Never try to be what you think they're looking for. And that is the most golden advice, because when you're trying too hard to be something you're not, it comes across as disingenuous. You don't actually have enough passion and energy to follow through on anything. So if you come from a place of complete authenticity, that's actually the gift. The gift for me wasn't winning, Wayne. The gift was realizing that I can be completely myself and that that's more than enough. Because in the process, I just learned to love myself and be myself. And I was not your typical beauty queen when I won. Yes, I had to learn some new skills. I had to learn how to
sure.
sit in front of judges
there's certain
and walk
things
on a
you need
stage,
to,
which
yes.
I'm still historically bad at.
And learn how to walk in heels properly, do the makeup. But I mean, those things all can be taught, you know what I'm saying? But I think ultimately something very profound that you said there is that there's only one you, and we forget about that. And we look at the past winners and we think, okay, we need to draw inspiration. Yes, draw inspiration, but don't be like them. Don't think because that's what they did, that's what's the expectation thereof. You know what I mean? Because they've had that.
Yes,
they want something
exactly.
fresh. They want someone new. And if that's what you can bring to the table, like you said, in being authentic and just by being yourself, then that will automatically put your head and shoulders above the rest.
And that's the best example that you can leave for anybody watching your journey. Is yes, there's only one winner, but I was possibly more inspired and taught by my sisters in the journey than anybody else. And the gift that they gave me is also a gift that they give their audience, their family, their community, their friends. They've got a whole microcosm of people that are looking up to them as a finalist. And they're teaching me and giving me is their authentic spirit that they're leaving behind. So every part of the journey is amazing. Just by being part of it, you're adding value to the people's lives around you.
And you're just shining. You know what I mean? A person can then just shine. You know. Just now that you mentioned sisters, I need to, because you know we heard a lot within the pageant world, sisterhood. There's a lot of different interpretations, a lot of definitions around it. What do you think is the true definition of sisterhood within pageantry?
I think within pageantry and outside of pageantry, sisterhood is mutual respect. I think it goes deeper than love and friendship. Respect is such a fundamental value that I think is missing, because it's also about redefining what it means to be a woman in families, a woman in sport, a woman in business, that you can be yourself, you can own your space, you can take up space, but still open the way for those around you without being apologetic. Sisterhood is not just fluffy love and pajama parties and you look beautiful and you love your hair. You win. That's not sisterhood. Sisterhood is watching her slay, helping make a way for her, and she does the same for you. Absolutely.
It's like a support system. Yes. But the foundation and the fundamental is respect. And ultimately, because let's be honest, it's been known that women can break each other down and have a lot to say, and it's this and that. And that's not sisterhood. Sisterhood is about being each other's cheerleader, supporting each other in business, like you said, respecting that. That to me is the true definition. So I think you really hit the nail on the head, and I hope a lot of people have heard that. Because like Nicole said, it's not about the, oh, hi, darling, you're looking fabulous, It's got nothing to do with that, you know? And because, you know, in the end with pageants, and that I just want to bring up is that you're going to have some ladies you're going to get on with and some that you don't, but that's okay. Because we don't get on with everybody. And if you connect just with one person and that person has brought you so much that no one else has ever done, then it's all worthwhile.
When
You
I've
know?
had some people along my journey that have been hard on me in the right ways. They've, I can't stress this enough, that sisterhood is not a cushy, lovey. There are those moments, but the respect is such that it makes somebody have hard conversations with you. Mentorship itself is a hard process because you have to look yourself and your failures in the face and say, how can I be a better human? And all of our relationships should be like that. And when you sit in a boardroom with other women as well, that's when you allow them to sometimes be what in the traditional pageantry sisterhood vibe would be, oh, that's quite brutal, or that's quite hard, or that's quite tough. No, it's just a woman owning her space is a beautiful thing. And we need to start seeing that, I think, more in one another. And breaking a lot of boundaries, not just for women, but the boxes that everybody's placed in.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. I know about people, placed in boxes, including myself, but I've just realized in my life, it's not about the people, it's about you, and you need to stand up and own it. Nicole, just lastly.
Yes, Wayne.
Over and above, being involved in television and your adventurous life, just what is any specific goal that you've got for this year? What is that's something that you want to achieve over and above now that one reaching the summit of that Mont Blanc? Is there anything else?
Yes, it's actually a very deeply personal goal. So I think you've always got the 5-year plan. You've always got the same trajectory to keep going and doing what you're doing. But I still find myself in a lot of scenarios because of my very traditional background. I find myself apologizing. And some people might not know that about me. That is very vulnerable because I come across as strong and she can climb mountains and she can build business. But I still apologize for a lot of things that I shouldn't as a woman. And I feel like I want to embody everything that I respect in my mentors. So that's a very personal goal for me. Yeah,
but now that you're sharing personal, I just want to close off by saying it's the same with me because, in life, you continue to learn and you've got to be teachable and you've got to grow. And the same thing with me is that I am really working at knowing my worth, knowing my value, and really just, even though times where I've compromised myself just because I didn't think I was worth it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
This is my year of no compromise and really just standing up for who I am, but in a humble way,
Yes.
Because in many ways we've paid one's school fees, you've experienced, but people also need to start respecting, knowing this is your worth. Otherwise, it's fine. You don't need to use me, or you don't need to, you know what I'm trying to say? So that's something I'm really going to be working on for this year.
So we have such aligned
goals.
Yes,
we do.
We need to do this again.
I love it.
Debrief next gen. So how did it go?
Absolutely. But guys, listen, Nicole, thank you so much, for sharing everything. And we're obviously following your journey. I mean, people watch you on the small screen, but just stay as beautiful and as inspirational as what you are.
And you too. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be on this couch.
Thank you, my darling. So guys, this is me, Wayne Stafford, for PPMC Magazine's Queen Talk. Until next time, take care.